towards the back. Wild Turtle pulling up 10 this game. Money people as well. Double cover quad chase still going through. Benny low, one hit from Dead. Gonna give that away to Cop. 3-man kill here for Curse. C9 looking good in this fight. Can they find another? Ty is gonna get huge in this battle. Bankload on the chase. Gonna get the slow. Gets the double kill.
Coming back in, double it, flashes the binding, condemn against the wall, one more shot, and he gets the long-range snipe.
There's surrender from XDG though.
Hugs all around for TSM. It's almost like they didn't even miss a beat.
Welcome to Week 9 of the North American League Championship Series. We're coming to you live from our studios in Los Angeles, California. I'm Rivington Fizzle III, and with me is Joshua Jat Leesman. Jat, how you feeling after the off week, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's really good to be back. You don't realize how used to the LCS you get until it's gone.
I know, almost forgot my ways, how to get here. But we're here, and we're ready to go. There are now only 3 weeks left of the spring split, and what is the home stretch for some is a sprint for those hoping to pull themselves out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, so each team has 8 games left, and the bottom 5 teams are all separated by only 4 games. So it's still possible for any of these teams to save themselves a trip to the summer promotion tournament, but they have to start turning it around today.
So for a closer look at this week's news, we start in Katowice, Poland, where the Intel Extreme Masters Championships were held. First place went to OGN's KT Rolster Bullets, with Fnatic taking second, but Cloud9 had an impressive performance over there.
Yeah, Cloud9 had some commanding wins over China's WE and also the Taipei Assassins. They did lose in the semifinals to Fnatic, but they did have a good performance on an international stage.
And they'll be back in action in North America this week. Also making his return to the NA LCS is TSM's Bjergsen. He'll be happy to find that the team did not burn down the gaming house while he was away.
Yeah, TSM was quite successful with Reginald covering the mid lane for them. They went 5-1 in Bjergsen's absence, and they also had that 4-0 perfect record in Super Week. They still sit in first place with a 1-game lead over Cloud9.
And TSM returns to its regular lineup as EG announced they would be bringing on 3 subs to cover for Snoopy, Yellowpea, and Crepo, who will be taken out this week to take on visa issues.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for them, but their subs are the more important thing right now. AD carry is going to be Robert X. Lee. A lot of people know him from the North American Challenger Series. Then Ken, who might be known as Executioner Ken, or in the Collegiate Championship, Fang Shen. He will be filling in as support.
So many names.
And covering in the jungle is going to be Think Card. He's an unknown player from Challenger Solo Queue.
Yep, and we'll see how all that plays out in our 4 matches today, beginning with Team Solo Mid versus XDG.
Then 5th place Curse will attempt to overtake the 4th place Dignitas. After that, Coast aims to rebound from a Super Week when they square off against Cloud9.
That's right. Then in our final LCS match, we have the new Evil Geniuses versus CLG. Then be sure to stick around for the North American Challenger Series semifinals immediately following our LCS coverage. That's the schedule, but let's break down the players we're going to be keeping an eye on this week. First up are the new faces on Evil Geniuses who are making their NA LCS debut. We saw in the European League when several Ninjas in Pajamas players covered for members of Gambit had mixed success, but with EG hovering at 7th place, it is a dangerous time to not have your starters.
Yeah, Coast had a tough Super Week as well, so we're going to be keeping our eye on Nintendo X and see how he performs. Unfortunately, he has 85 deaths so far, which is the most in the North American LCS. He needs to stop the deaths and help Coast get back to it.
That's right. Also, we're anxious to see how well Bjergsen jumps back into the TSM mid lane. He's been playing on the European server for 3 weeks now while he was out, so we'll see if there is any trouble adjusting to that.
Yeah, and speaking of adjustments, Cop adjusted just fine to his new support last week, Bunny Fufu. He helped Curse to a strong 3-1 Super Week, and we have to see if he can stay at it. He is the most consistent AD carry, and with that new support, can they do it 2 weeks in a row?
Let's see. From Cloud9, High had a huge week in Poland, helped secure 2 big wins for the team, and had some great plays on Gragas, if you remember. We'll see if he and the rest of the boys in blue can carry that momentum into this week. So let's check out the league standings as they are now brought to you by the new season of Game of Thrones. In first place, it's Team Solo Mid with 17 wins and 3 losses.
Still trailing just 1 game back is Cloud9 with CLG in 3rd place. Dignitas holds 4th, but right on their tail is Bunny Fufu and Team Curse.
Then slipping down to 6th place, Team Coast with 7 wins and 13 losses, followed by Evil Geniuses in 7th, and its last place is XDG. So life on Summoner's Rift and life in King's Landing are very similar. When you play the game, you win or you die. Here's an exclusive look at the new season of Game of Thrones.
Darkness, evil, and fear. Eternally at war.
You can see the big plays from the 7 Kingdoms on April 6th, but today all the big plays will be happening on the Rift.
Yes, so share your favorite moments from today's action by tweeting us at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays.
And if you've missed any of this year's games, head over to lolesports.com to catch a replay. Also there you can find interviews with the pros, player statistics, and thought-provoking articles that may just save your life in the game.
And while you're there, you can reserve your seat to join our studio audience. Click on the tickets link for all the details and start planning your visit to the LCS today.
Then lock in your vote for who you think will be taking today's matches. Click on schedule, select week 9, and weigh in. For a closer look at the stretch run, let's throw it over to Kobe and Freak.
Thank you very much, Riv. What's up, guys? I'm David Freak Turley, and manning the analyst desk with me is Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. How you doing?
Afternoon, Freak.
Afternoon.
I mean David.
David, Sam, we're here speaking with our real-world names. It's a weird thing to go on. Now, Riv and Jat mentioned it earlier, but the teams are entering the final leg of the spring split, and from the top of the standings to the bottom, all the players are feeling the pressure as the stakes continue to mount.
Good job! If you play good in the last 8 games, it gives you a lot of confidence to go into playoffs.
Pretty much, it's not how you start this season, it's how you finish.
The top 3 spots are pretty close right now between TSM, us, and CLG. We definitely can't afford to drop many, if any, games in the last 8.
Every game matters now because one game might be the difference between you being first place or second place.
CLG is the hottest team right now. TSM has what they want, and that's first place.
We're going to be looking to stay on top and to prepare for adapting quickly.
Even though the end of the season is coming up and our score is good, we can definitely lose a lot of those games and just fall to the bottom of the pack.
Some teams can't no longer fight or vie for first place or even second or third.
For the bottom teams, it's going to be quite an intense period.
We had fun in relegation once. That one time was enough for us. We've had enough enjoyment there.
The season sometimes is a bit of an endurance. There's not much point being really good at the start of the season only to crumble at the end.
The motivation is that it's your job, and if you screw up, then you're out of a job. So that's how you get a second win.
Never really had the problem of getting complacent or tired or bored or anything throughout the season.
I honestly just like playing League so much that I don't really need any more motivation. It's like, oh, sick, I get to keep playing, all right.
And we're joined now by Dignitas support Kiwi Kid and Curse's jungler, I Will Dominate. So guys, last 8 games. Kiwi Kid, will start with you. How you feeling coming into the last stretch of the season?
I'm feeling so-so. I feel like, man, our team could be easily the first place. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people say that about their team, but I mean, we kind of have like the results. Like we beat C9, but we also got stomped by them. But we also got stomped by some teams that like kind of just got a new roster change, which is honestly kind of unacceptable. But feeling a lot better. We've been doing a lot of practice, and I'm ready to tackle it.
All right, you ready to tackle it? Dominate, how about you? Curse is getting better and better throughout the season.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to making like a run in the last 8 games. We're definitely aiming for 4th place, so at least 4th place. So we're coming for your spot, Kiwi. If we just like do what we've been doing in scrims and just try our best, like I think we should be able to have good results in these last 8 games, and that's really what we're aiming for.
Speaking of feelings, both of you guys, your mid laners, have been feeling a little ill. What are any updates here? Kiwi, is Skara all right?
I think Skara's like a lot better than he was maybe 3 days ago. He really needs to work on his immune system, though. I don't know why, but he's always, feeling under the weather. But yeah, I think he'll bring his A game today.
Anything for Void Boy there, Dominate?
Yeah, he's feeling fine right now. I mean, he's normally fine during like the whole week. It's just right before matches, like with all like the nerves and like the stress. That's normally when he like feels like a little bit of like illness in his stomach. So yeah, I think he's normally fine. He should be fine today, but if something happens, we'll just act as normal.
All right, well, let's take a look back at the weekend then, because IEM was a pretty big deal. What would you say were your biggest takeaways from the IEM finals?
I think the biggest takeaways were whenever just KTV, they just move so well. Like, they don't actually, I was looking back on the lanes, and they don't actually smash it that hard. Like, definitely it's also because, you know, Fnatic has pretty strong lanes as well. But, like, just every movement they make, it's, like, with a purpose, and they don't ever seem like they're meandering. And I think that's the most important, just no wasted movements.
Cool. Dominic, how about you?
I kind of feel like their pick ban phase is, like, really, really strong right now. They understand what's OP, and they're willing to pick things that are good into things that EU people think are OP. So I think that they're definitely like a really strong team, and I think that their strength is probably like pick bans and strategy in game.
There's actually a question I want to ask for you guys. So this is the second week the NA LCS is on 4.3. I want to know if you guys have sort of learned anything like from the weeks, like, oh, this champion actually is on the rise. We're going to play her a lot more. Anything like that?
Yeah,
Rise?
mostly with Rise and obviously Kha'Zix. Like, with the new ult, it's just like ridiculous. Like, man, you should just get that at level 11 or something. I don't think. Why can you upgrade the ult on the level that you get the ult? Like, that makes no sense, I think. For as strong as the ult is, it's just ridiculous. And yeah, so back to your question, like, yeah, Kha'Zix, Rise. I think Eve's growing too. I mean, Eve's been growing like the past 2 weeks, but yeah, she's really annoying, especially with the tank builds.
I actually want to follow up that Karma's been getting played a lot. In Europe, yesterday it was played in all 4 games LCS. What's she about?
She's just about really strong. Her laning is like very strong. And it's kind of hard to mess up with her, especially if you go like the Koreans are doing like 21 defense. And with that, even though you're like, oh, wait, what about the gold gain from the support masteries utility tree? But with the new Frostfang, it like kind of makes up for that. So you can start the Frostfang and not die because you have so much defensive masteries from the tree.
Dominic, how about you? I know we talked about Kha'Zix a bit.
Yeah, I think that Kha'Zix is one of like the obvious super strong ones on 4.3. Rise is good too. We've been seeing like a little bit of Jace. So I definitely think that there's like a couple new OP champions, but all the OPs from like the previous patch are pretty much still there. So it's now just like the pool that you had before to like pick from, like Lulu and things like that, and then you're adding in like the Kha'Zix and things like that. So you're gonna have a lot more like counterplay in the pick ban phase because you can leave a couple things open, maybe get 2-3 OPs before you'd get one.
Great. All right. Thanks for your guys' input. Of course, we got more questions for you guys. We want to get your thoughts on our Twitter question of the day. We're going to ask everybody, which team do you think will benefit the most from the week off and why? I want to ask you guys, how did you guys improve over your week off?
We improved by just we came up with new game plans. We didn't just play scrims just to play scrims. We came up with plans like almost for once, and then we just. After every game, we had a lot more time to analyze things. We spent more time just seeing what champions we wanted to play and how other champions would work with other champions, or some champions would work with other champions. And we actually might have a surprise for you guys this week. So
I love surprises.
Me too. It's not even Christmas. How about Dominic? How about with you guys?
We just worked on just being more solid in general, kind of sticking to our roots, but just being able to execute a lot better in game. So that was our main focus. And as far as other teams go, I think that EG probably had the biggest change from last week to this week. They're obviously playing with a new roster both weeks. But last week, you know, the whole team was just kind of forming. It kind of felt like an amateur team where you have a bunch of strong players, but they're not really focused. And then in the last week, they really buckled down and they got a lot of focus. And now they just feel like a standard pro team. They feel really strong. So I think that EG is like probably the most improved from both weeks, considering they had a new roster.
All right. Well, thank both of you guys for joining us here today, and for you guys at home, send your answers to @LOL Esports and be sure to use that hashtag LCS. Then stay tuned to see if we use your response later in the broadcast.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, TSM's got the band back together. They're going to take to the Rift against XDG. Stay tuned.